Yo, what is up guys? Welcome to Andy's Reviews, and today we are going to be reviewing Man of Steel, directed by Zack Snyder and starring Henry Cavill, Amy Adams, Laurence Fishburne, Michael Shannon, and Russell Crowe, amongst many other actors. When it comes to discussing the pros of the movie, I have to say that the action sequences and fighting cinematography at the end of the movie was absolutely phenomenal, especially the fight sequence between Superman and General Zod as they fought to the death in the Battle of Metropolis, as we the humans got to see our perspective during the fight of the gods. However, of course, the second main thing I really liked about this movie has to be the perfect casting choices that Zack Snyder was able to nail down for this movie. In my own complete honest opinion, Michael Shannon as General Zod is irreplaceable as General Zod. Similar to how Robert Downey Jr. is irreplaceable as Iron Man. It was literally that perfect. I completely agreed with the decision to cast Michael Shannon in this role. And of course, another role that I really enjoyed in this movie has to be Laurence Fishburne as Mr. White, which is absolutely another perfect casting nailed down by Zack Snyder. And of course, the third main thing I really liked about this movie has to be the score that Hans Zimmer composed for this movie. Some of my personal favorite pieces from his work in this movie has to be Flight, Arcade, Oil Rig, and of course, Launch. And of course, the fourth main thing I really liked about this movie has to be the world building of the world of Krypton that occurred within the first 10 minutes of this movie. In the first 10 minutes of this movie, Zack Snyder invested the time to actually show the audience the world of Krypton. We, the audience, get to see the architecture of Krypton. We get to see the destruction of Krypton. We get to see the technology of Krypton. We even get to see the political aspect of Krypton and how basically every political leader in Krypton was against General Zod's plan of mass destruction. The fourth main thing I really liked about this movie has to be the design of the Kryptonian technology, especially the ship that sent General Zod to the Phantom Zone. The design of that ship was absolutely phenomenal. And of course, I really enjoyed the design of the World Destroyer, or World Changer, whatever it's called. It was so amazing seeing alien technology that was so unique and that I had never seen in another movie before. And that, of course, brings us into the fifth main thing I really liked about this movie. The fifth main thing I really liked about this movie was the fact that General Zod actually had a purpose in this movie and was actually the most memorable villain in the whole DC cinematic universe. Everything that General Zod did was for his people. And it was for that exact reason why I believe that General Zod was an absolutely amazing villain. Everything he did was for his people. However, of course, that doesn't really mean that this movie doesn't come without flaws. Some of the cons of this movie has to be the dark tone that Zack Snyder chose for this movie, which might work for some people, and it worked for me. But if you're not really into dark movies or really dark fight cinematography, very dark colored grading, very dark cinematography, then this movie is definitely not for you, but it's still manageable. And of course, the second main thing I did not like about this movie has to be the way that Zack Snyder treated the death of Superman's human father, Henry Kent. So basically, in the movie, Henry Kent dies to a tornado in front of Superman, who could have easily saved him in front of a whole bunch of people. If I were Zack Snyder, I would have chosen that Henry Kent would have died from a heart attack or cancer, just like in the comics, to show that Superman's powers cannot really save everybody, especially from mortal disease, which would have actually pulled at the heartstrings more than just having Superman's dad die from a tornado. And of course, the third main thing that I did not like about this movie has to be the 40-minute action sequences at the end of the movie. In my complete honest opinion, I enjoyed every minute of it, but for the sake of making a non-partial review, these 40 minutes of action sequences may become repetitive for regular viewers. But in my complete honest opinion, the fight cinematography during this 40 minutes was absolutely phenomenal, especially the sound design by Hans Zimmer, which only added to the stakes of it. And of course, the fourth main thing I did not like was the fact that General Zod was killed. Literally. I understand why Zack Snyder decided to kill off General Zod so he could continue on with his arc of starting the Justice League. But in my complete honest opinion, General Zod shouldn't have been killed. He should have been arrested and ultimately released from prison in order to help Superman fight Steppenwolf or Darkseid. That's my complete honest opinion. We literally killed a Kryptonian, which was not a good idea. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Which of course brings us to the end of this movie review. When it comes to putting this movie or placing this movie on the Andy's Reviews grading scale, I have to say that this movie earns a solid B out of an A+ grade, 8.5 chimichangas out of 10 chimichangas, as well as a rewatchability score of 1 time every 3 years in order to maintain its authenticity and impact of the soundtrack. Feel free to follow me on my socials at Andy Talks About Movies Way Too Much And for the next review, I will not be staring down the camera this close. Thank you very much.